All right, so the UDM's Bantu Holomisa is actually joining a chorus of criticism of government's decision to extend the state of disaster to the middle of April. General Holomisa is joining a court bid launched by AfriForum. So this is separate to what the DA is doing. The UDM leader joins me now. General, thank you so much for your time. Talk to me about the difference, if any, between what the DA is planning to do and what you with AfriForum are doing.
The United Democratic Movement, firstly, I didn't listen to what the leader of the DA has said.
Well, he said that they're launching court action, yes. He said, I've instructed our attorneys to bring an urgent court challenge. Yes.
Answer our question. The United Democratic Movement is joining the rest, including DA and the AfriForum as a friend of the court. Today, I can confirm that the UDM has briefed its attorneys and a senior counsel on why we are joining others in court on this matter. I briefed our legal team that from our point of view, it is difficult to understand the need to have a continued state of disaster, whilst the major disaster seems to have been averted. Stats or statistics speaks a different language. Even scientists are saying there is no need to continue with this. Indeed, vaccination programs or rather program is well underway. So some industries, for instance, who rely on who rely on people who have been working at lower capacity. Those industries such as sport, tourism, hospitality, arts and culture are totally hamstrung, including those who are working in other industries. So the president has only spoke about the need to develop regulations as the reasons for the delay. His government has failed dismally to consult or work with Parliament. It means the executive has not been accountable throughout the state of disaster. So let the courts ventilate all this. We are sick and tired of knocking at the door of an executive which doesn't want to listen.
So am I correct that your real concern is, while we have so very few measures in place, we do still have measures? So, for example, we can only have 2,000 people at an outdoor event, which would mean that any of those big expos we see, obviously sporting events, big concerts, just cannot operate. Is economics and the concern about economics your primary motivation here?
That is our primary worry at the moment. For instance, we can't understand, would it not be possible for government, should the need arise, to reinstate state of disaster rather than holding the nation at ransom? So for them to hide behind excuse of saying they are going to develop rules and regulations, what regulations are they talking about? Because state of disaster is in the act, so you apply it as and when. Unless these fellows, because we cannot trust them, you trust them at your own peril, unless they want to use this to continue to loot the resources for their conferences. We've seen them, how they did it in the past through Bosasas.
So that's an interesting point that you make, because I was going to ask whether this is just, on what grounds are you going to court? Because is it just that you feel government has been far too slow and is allowing itself to get caught up in bureaucratic processes that are not necessary? Or do you suspect something more sinister at play?
No, the gist of our argument will be on facts and scientific results we are seeing. And also, for instance, if you talk about the enforcement of these masks, you will find that the police have been stressed out. Nobody is listening to them. And the better we deal with this matter and allow police to concentrate on other areas, the better. And I've said the major disaster seems to have been averted. Let the government say it has not been averted. I must say so in court.
Why do you think government is doing this? Is it just because they are slow? I mean, we know that most scientists and health specialists are saying it's pretty much in the tail end of the pandemic. There is no scientific need to wear masks, certainly not outside. Most people have some form of immunity. Why do you think government has been so slow?
One word, that is abuse of power. And they know that they are not accountable to any parliament. So I'm not even interested to get in that debate. Let us use what the scientists are saying. Let us use what the Act of Disaster stands for. Why do you want to come up with regulations in order to lift the state of disaster? They must go and answer that question in court. Because we say the state of disaster is in the Act. You can bring it back as and when there is a need. Why do you play a delaying tactics other than you have ulterior motives? But as I've said, we don't trust them. Trust issues kicks in one way or another. But that is not our major argument in court.
I hear you, and thank you so much for chatting to us this evening. I do appreciate it. UDM leader Bantu Holomisa.